the 2nd of Jan. I looked in the mirror and I made a new plan. I patted my belly and said, you gotta go. Join the Fitness Protection Pro. I dug through the attic for my gym attire. I was filled with the resolution fire. Found my headband from '84 and the short shorts lying on the dusty floor. I put on my sneakers with the neon laces, ready to join the athletic races. I drove to the gym with a swagger and strut, ready to tighten up my flabby butt. Oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. I walked through the doors of fitness world. I saw the heavy iron being curled, but I headed straight for the cardio zone. I wanted to get into the skinny bone. I stepped on a machine that looked like a ship. I was ready to let the calories rip. It had a screen like a TV set. I hadn't even started to break a sweat. I pressed the button that said quick start. I felt the pounding of my hopeful heart, but I didn't see the speed was set to 10. I was about to be the fastest of men. It's a treadmill terror, moving too fast, trying to run away from my heavy past. My feet are flying, but I'm staying in place with a look of panic upon my face. Stop the machine, I wanna get off before I develop a permanent cough. Like a cartoon wheel, I started to lose the feeling in my heel. I tried to grab the handles to save my life. I started thinking of my loving wife. I yelled for help, but the music was loud. I was entertaining the fitness crowd. I hit the emergency stop with my nose. I flew off the back and tore my hose. I landed in a pile of yoga mats right next to a lady wearing leopard spats. I gasped for air and I checked for a break. I realized this was a huge mistake. A trainer came over with a pitying look. He said maybe you should try a reading book. I stood up shaky on my wobbling knees. I said I think I'm done with the gym, if you please. I limped to the locker to get my clothes. My body was throbbing from head to toes. I realized running is for horses and cars, not for a man who loves candy bars. I canceled my membership right on the spot. I gave it everything that I had got, which turned out to be about 30 seconds flat. So much for losing the belly fat. My resolution lasted for a minute or two. Now I'm turning black and blue. I need some recovery, I need some care. I need to get out of this healthy air. I walked to my car in the parking lot. My stomach was tying in a hungry knot. All that exercise made an appetite. I needed to eat everything in sight. I drove toward home with a singular wish to put something tasty upon my dish. I walked in the kitchen, ready for a treat, looking for some cheese or a piece of meat. But the fridge was empty, the shelves were bare. My wife was standing with a righteous stare. She pointed to the counter with a wicked grin. We're doing a detox, let the diet begin. Oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. What do your New Year's resolutions look like? Well, she threw out the butter, she threw out the bread, she threw out the cookies that I kept by the bed. She emptied the pantry of everything good and filled it with stuff that looks like wood. She said, New Year, new you, my dear. I felt the rising of a sudden fear. On the kitchen counter sat a blender machine filled with a liquid that was glowing green. It smelled like the grass that I cut in July. I looked at the glass and I started to cry. Drink up, she said with a cheerful shout. It cures the gout and cleans you out. I took a little sip and my tongue went numb. I felt the vibration of a jungle drum. It tasted like dirt and a little bit of chalk. I could barely breathe, I could barely talk. It's kale, she told me it's a superfood. It put me in a super nasty mood. I opened the fridge looking for a steak, but all I found was a tofu cake. I looked for the cheddar, I looked for the ham, I looked for the jar of the bacon. me chart. Died, it shouldn't be quite this hard. I'm a carnivore, baby, can't you see? Kale is a four-letter word to me. I went to work with a lettuce leaf, suffering from a deep and hunger grief. My stomach was growling a heavy bass line. I was dreaming of a restaurant sign. My co-workers were eating a pepperoni slice. I asked for a bite, I wasn't being nice. I came home early, feeling weak and thin. My wife was committing another culinary sin. She was making pasta out of zucchini strings and chicken wings made out of cauliflower things. I tried to pretend that it tasted the same, but chewing on rubber is a losing game. I waited till midnight, till the house was asleep. I started to crawl and I started to creep. I knew I had a stash in the garage, hidden behind the camouflage. A bag of chips from 1999, but at this point they would taste just fine. I sat in the dark with a salty crunch, eating a midnight forbidden lunch. But the guilt was heavy and the chips were stale. I realized that I was destined to fail. This organic lifestyle is a heavy cost, and my appetite is completely lost. They say that your body is a temple, it's true, but my temple wants a barbecue. I can't live on water and lemon zest, put my willpower to the ultimate test. The next day she sent me to the grocery store to buy some quinoa and a little bit more. I walked down the aisle with the organic sign and saw the prices on the bottom line. $10 for berries, $15 for the rice. This healthy living has a heavy price. Woo! Well, I pulled out my wallet, the leather was worn. I looked at the cash and I felt forlorn. I spent my whole paycheck on seeds and nuts just to shrink the size of our guts. I looked at the total and I started to sweat. I haven't even seen a credit card bill yet. Woo!
At the bank statement, I nearly hit the floor. I never seen so many zeros in a row before. Between the gym and the organic kale, my financial ship is about to fail. I called a family meeting, I slammed my hand down. We're the brokest family in this whole entire town. New year, new budget was my battle cry. We're cutting costs until the day we die. No more fancy coffees, no more dining out. We're going strictly frugal without a shadow of a doubt. I cut up the credit cards with a pair of shears, ignoring my wife and a silent of tears. I went to the warehouse store to buy in bulk size. I thought I was being incredibly wise. Why buy one ketchup when you can buy a drum? You'd have to be stupid, you'd have to be dumb. I filled up the car with 50 pounds of rice and look at the unit price, isn't it nice? I bought a pallet of tuna and a barrel of soap. I was climbing the ladder of financial hope, but at the checkout counter the total was grand. $600 I could barely stand, but I'm saving money. I tried to explain while my wallet screamed in a terrible pain. It's the budget boogie, doing the math, walking down the dangerous spending path. Spending $100 just to save a dime. I'm committing a financial logic crime. I'm broke, I'm busted, I'm deep in the red, but look at all this discounted bread. Determined to fix the leaky tap. I won't pay a plumber, I won't fall in that trap. I watched a video on my telephone screen. I said I can fix this, I'm a repair machine. I went to the hardware store to get a little wrench, but I got distracted by a shiny new bench. I needed a hammer, so I bought a nail gun and a laser level just for the fun. I bought a power sander and a brand new drill, adding another $300 to the bill. These are investments, I told myself as I put the expensive tools on the shelf. I cranked on the pipe with my brand new grip. I felt the metal bend, I felt the washer slip. A geyser of water shot up in the air, soaking the ceiling in my remaining hair. I tried to plug the hole with the bulk buy rice, but that turned out to be really bad advice. plumber on a Sunday night. The emergency rates gave me a terrible fright. He looked at my fix and he started to laugh. That's gonna cost you $1.5 grand. My savings plan was going up in smoke. Being thrifty is nothing but a cruel joke. Now the basement is flooded, the tools are in the rust. My financial plan is a total bust. I'm eating tuna fish 3 times a day just to keep the debt collector away. I sat on the porch with my head in my hands, mourning the death of my savings plans. They say that money can't buy you peace, but it can pay for a plumber's lease. I try to be cheap, I try to be smart, but I broke the bank and I broke my heart. My hands were shaking from the stress and the strain. I needed something to numb the pain. I walked to the fridge to grab a cold beer to wash away the debt and the financial fear. But I grabbed the handle and I stopped dead cold. I remember the promise that I had told her.
My hand was on the door, the condensation code. But then I remembered the lie I had told dry January. I shouted to the room, sentencing myself to a month of gloom. No beer, no whiskey, no wine in the glass. I watched the slowest month of history pass. My nerves were jumping like a Mexican bean. I was the jumpiest fella that you've ever seen. Every time I heard a soda can pop, my heart would skip and my stomach would drop. I was sweating bullets in the winter chill, testing the limits of my iron will. We went to the bowling league on Tuesday night. The boys were drinking pitchers, a beautiful sight. The golden bubbles, the frothy foam head. I felt like a man who was already dead. I'll have a water, I told the waitress who. She looked at me like I was inside a zoo. With a lemon twist I added with flair, trying to pretend that I didn't care. I sipped my water while they toasted the strike. I felt like riding a unicycle bike, off balance, uneven and totally sad, missing the best friend that I ever had. I got the dry January shake, rattle and roll, losing my grip on my self-control. My foot is tapping, my eyes are twitch. This resolution is a real glitch. 31 days is a lifetime of thirst. I think that my head is going to burst. I turned on the TV to watch the football game, but without a cold one it wasn't the same. The commercials were mocking me, every single ad was pouring a drink that I wished that I had. Ice cubes clinking in a crystal glass. I prayed for the month to quickly pass. I started hallucinating in the afternoon. I saw a giant olive floating past the moon. The cattled like a bottle of Pinot Noir. I was banned from the local neighborhood bar for looking too thirsty and staring at the tap. I was caught in the sober hydration trap. My wife said, "Honey, your skin looks great." I said, "I don't care, I'm losing weight. I'm irritable, angry, and bored out of my mind, leaving the joy of the spirits behind." She sipped her herbal tea with a smug little grin while I felt the crawling of my very skin. I went to a party on the 29th day. I thought I can make it, I'm practically okay. They handed me a cider, it's alcohol free. It tasted like apples from a rotting tree. I poured it in a plant when no one looked. My patience was fried, my goose was cooked. They say it's good for the liver and brain, but it's driving me on to the crazy train. I'm counting the seconds, I'm counting the hours. I've lost all my social superpowers. The calendar finally turned the page. I felt like a lion released from a cage. The 30th came and the 31st too. I was sticking to it like super glue. I sat in the kitchen watching the clock, staring at the fridge like a hawk on a rock. 11:58, then 59. I had the bottle open and already in line. The second hand ticked to the 12 at the top. I heard the glorious, beautiful pop. February is here, the drought is done. Time to have some real rock and roll fun.
unplugged the cord. I threw it in the bin like a generous lord. I opened the freezer and tossed out the ice. I didn't think once, I didn't think twice. I grabbed the takeout menu from the drawer, the one I hadn't touched since the year before. Hello, Pizza Palace is your favorite guy. I want a large pepperoni with an extra pie. Put sausage on it, put bacon on top. Don't you dare hesitate, don't you dare stop. And send me some wings with the blue cheese dip. I'm back in the saddle, I'm steering the ship. I called up the gym on the telephone line. I'm canceling my membership, everything's fine. No, I don't want a discount, I don't want to freeze. I just want to sit on my sofa with ease. I heard the trainer sigh as I hung up the phone. I was reclaiming the comfort of my own zone. It's February freedom, I'm quitting the race. I'm stuffing a burger right into my face. The resolutions are broken and I feel so good doing all the bad things that I knew I should. New Year, same me, that's the motto today. I like myself better in the old-fashioned way. When she smelled the grease, she looked at the pizza like a masterpiece. She dropped the act and she grabbed a slice. She said, oh my heaven, isn't this nice? We sat on the couch in our sweatpants gray, throwing the diet rules far away. I opened a beer and the foam hit my lip. It was the greatest flavor, the greatest sip. The dry January was a dusty ghost. I raised up my can for a glorious toast. Here's to the dead bod, here's to the gut, here's to keeping our big mouth shut. I turned on the TV to a rerun show, letting the laziness start to flow. No more repairing, no more dead-eye placing a brand new laziness bed. I put my feet up on the coffee table, living the life of a modern fable. The treadmill is now a clothes-hanging rack. There is absolutely no turning back. My tools are rusting in the garage. I'm getting a mental comfort massage. The pressure is off, the stress is gone. I'm ready to party till the break of dawn. They tell you to change, they tell you to grow, but I'm already perfect, don't you know? Why fix the engine if the car still runs? Let's go back to having some sticky buns. So here is a lesson for the coming year. Don't make a promise that brings you to fear. Stay who you are, enjoy the ride with a little bit of pizza on the side. We tried to be better, we gave it a shot, but I'd rather be happy with what I've got. The music is playing, the beer is cold. I'm happy to be getting a little bit old. So goodbye to the gym, goodbye to the green. I'm the happiest quitter that you've ever seen. February is here, let the good times roll. I've got my pizza and I've got my soul. Hey honey, pass the ranch dressing. You want another slice? You better believe it.